Alright gamers, today we're working in a coal mine going down, down, down with Coal Baron. Let's check it out. In the game Coal Baron, you're going to start with a little player board like this, and the player board is really smart. They have this little cardboard piece that's not cut as thick as the main board, and they have this little elevator shaft, and it fits right in that groove and moves up and down. That is just like the coolest little thing on a player board I have seen in quite some time. Now, in this coal mine, you're going to start with one color of each coal. The colors are yellow, brown, gray, and black. Yellow being the cheapest and easiest to mine, and of course black being the rarest and hardest to mine because they're at the bottom of the shaft there. First player is going to start with the first player marker here. You're also going to do a draft. Depending on the number of players, you're going to put out some cards and everyone's going to draft one of each. So they'll start with 3 starting orders of stuff that they know they can fulfill to get some points in the game. They'll put the little point trackers here, and of course the track goes around the board and then some at the end of the game. And of course you're also going to start with a certain amount of money. Now the money is paper money and is all the same color, which is kind of annoying, but it comes in 5s, 2s, and 1s. And of course the rule book says how many players you're playing determines how much money you will start with. Also, determining how many players you play with, you may have to lock out a few options, and it'll say, hey, look, if you're only playing with 3 players, lock that out. And they give the game gives you a bunch of these little lockouts, and you'll lock out as many options on the board as they say to. But let's pretend we're playing a 4-player game here. Now the game starts off with a bidding phase, which is really cool. And you can bid anywhere on this board using any one of your workers, and you get so many workers depending on how many players there are. So you got all these little workers, and how you bid, let's go to the money first. Okay, I want to get some money because money is going to be tough to get in this game. Well, if I play it right here, boom, I'm in line to get $6 at the end of the bidding phase. But red may come along and boot me out of there and say, you know, nope, I bid 2 workers. Well, what happens to this one? He doesn't go back to my pile. He actually goes over here to get something to eat. He's kind of laid off. So he's kind of out of the game. So maybe I come back and I say, oh yeah, watch this. I'm going to bid 3 people there so I can get that 6. Now, he may come in, he may bid 4, or he just may bid 5. As you see, this can get kind of crazy after a while, especially if multiple players going after the same thing. Now, and then of course my 3 would go over there. Now, if I get locked out of any of these, I can always go and put 1 here, and you can't be booted out here. Any player can put 1 of their worker tokens there, and they're guaranteed to get $1. So that's how you can guarantee to get some money in the game. But it is possible for multiple players to win multiple spots. So maybe they won that, and blue won, you know, 5th place, and red's like, I'll win that one, and orange won, you know, 3rd place or 4th place there. So you can have red winning twice if you throw enough bid tokens down. Now that's money. So let's move over, looking at that same mechanism, let's move over to what you're buying. You're buying coal mines, okay? Extra mine shafts to add to your player board so you can mine something here. Now, you're going to place your palm player on any of these that you want to buy, and the same rules apply in bidding. Someone can bump you out and bid more and send your guy to the work hall there, and whoever ends up winning these is going to have to pay the amount on the card. So for instance, if I had won this one, I'm going to have to pay $4. There's a 4 right there. If I bought this one, this is going to cost me $6 because there is a 3 and a 3. This is a double cart, so I'm going to pay $6 if I win that. Now if a player goes over here and they won this little auction here, what they get to do is they get to choose the top 5 mineshaft cards that are unrevealed, look through them, pick the one they want, pay for it, and then shuffle the others back in any order and put them back in the stack, in the deck there. So that's kind of the special one you can fight for, bid for, and win if there's just nothing out here that you want. Now there are two types of coal mining tiles. You have lit shafts and unlit shafts. And that's very important because on your board you have lights here, no lights there. So in this instance I would have to put this with the lights right there, and this one, since it has no lights, I would have to place it over here. And then of course we would put coal in each one of those little mines so that we can haul them. All right, now I'll get to why you want a good balance of lighted shafts to unlighted shafts. That comes in really important at the end of the game. Now other things you can bid for in this game is movement points. And movement points will be determined here, 8 through 4, depending on the number of players. Some of the last options may be locked out, but you'll be bidding here, and let's say white here, they got 10 action points and they won out. What would that mean? Well, going back to my player board, here's what action points are. Moving the mine shaft anywhere down would be 1 action point. So I could move it down to here for 1 action point, or I could start over and go 1, 2. Loading them into your cart is an action point. As you see, I have 5 spots to where I can load coal on there. So I can't load more than 5 coal on this elevator shaft. So then I go up to 3. I load this one. 4. Move up again. 5, 6, 7, and 8. I'm full up. So I go 9. And then for my last move, I'll just move this one over here because I want to complete some of these orders. And I'll talk about the orders in a minute here. Now, as I have extra ones, let's say on my next turn, I won the 6th spot. Okay, maybe I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, and let's say I had these 2 in here as well for some reason. I could say 5, 6. You can also put them in your little shed so you can empty your cart and go back down and start mining again. And if ever I have grays, I can use them to fulfill one of these orders. Now, in fact, it says at the top of the screen here, you can exchange any 2 cubes to substitute for any 1 other cube, but it costs 2 actions. So if I had 4 actions left, I could go 5, 6, put these 2 grays on the black. That would actually count as a black. It cost me 2 actions to do so and cost me 2 cubes, but I actually fulfilled that order. Now, that's how action cubes or action points work in the game. Let's get to delivery. Now, once you have any of these orders completed, you can also deliver them and get paid those victory points that you're deserved here. So over here is the area where we would bid for deliveries. And let's say I won the pulling cart. You got pulling cart, you got a horse and buggy, you've got the truck, and you've got the locomotive. And that means for every emblem I have where it's just a pull cart, I can deliver that item, put this back into the pool, and I would get 3 victory points. And so I move up 1, 2, 3. You start here on the 0/100 mark. Now, what if I had 2 pull carts? Or what if they were all pull carts? Well, I could have delivered all of them. It's not limited to just 1. Any ones with that emblem that the orders are completed on, I could deliver them and cash in those victory points. And of course, you can win more than 1 delivery, just like I showed you in the money round there. So it is possible to deliver the ones, you know, more than just 1 icon. You could win, maybe I won this one, and you know, I beat someone out for the horse and buggy too, so I can deliver 2 of these as well, or as many horse and buggies as I have. So that's how it goes for deliveries, and of course that's how you generate victory points. Now if you want to order, get more orders here, you can go down here. There's a lot of these you can bid for, these contracts out here. Same bidding mechanism applies here. Also, just like in the coal mine over here, if you placed your guy over here, you could look through the top 5 cards and all the contracts, pick the one you like, and put the others back into the deck. So that's how it goes. Once the bidding's all settled, of course the action points will be dealt out, deliveries will be handled, and then you will go to the end of the round. And end of the round, you're going to have to score it this way on this score tracker. Now they got this little time hand that starts here on the first round, goes up to here on the second round, and on the third and final round, it goes down to there. Now, let me explain the first round. What you're going to do is once you complete an order, you're then going to flip it over and hide it from the other players. Because at the end of the round, you're going to flip all these over and we're going to determine who mined the most gold. Okay? So maybe I did with 3. Okay, I would get 2 points and second player, as you see underneath here, would get 1. We do the same thing for brown, gray, and black, and as you see, first and second place get something there. Now that's the end of the first round. When we start all over again, we clear out all of our workers and we'd start that bidding phase all over again. And any mines, let's say these 3 mines were taken, well, let's say 4 mines were taken. We would refill them for the next round here, and then we would start the bidding phase all over again. Now, the little marker counter here would go right here, and the little minute hand would go up here. So in the second round, at the end of the second round, if we did all of our bidding and we saw who won what, and we did all of our actions, made our deliveries, and so on and so forth, let's say I made these 2 deliveries in the next round, then we would say, okay, who mined the most of this, 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 and who made the most deliveries of the cart, the horse, the truck, and the locomotive. In the third round, you'd flip it here, and for the third time, you would calculate who mined the most of each different color coal. For the second time in the game, you would see who delivered the most and what per delivery method, using these cards as proof. And then finally, how many empty carts you have in the third and final round. So the person with the most yellow carts would receive 10 points. Second place would get 5, all the way up to black, which is 13, and second place is 6. And so that's how you would do your scoring at the final round. But that's not all the scoring you get. Because even at the end of it all, you're going to count down right down here at the bottom of your player board. It actually tells you how you can generate points at the end. For every $5 you have left over, you can cash that in and gain a victory point. For every 3 cubes you have of coal left in your shaft, you can cash those in and gain another victory point. And then finally, well, not finally, but the last 2 here, for any orders that you have open, let's say I had 1 order still open that I just couldn't get filled in time. I take a minus point for every order that I still have open that didn't get fulfilled by the end of the game. Also, and not just filled, but it had to be delivered as well. So I could have had 3 yellow cubes on this, and I just didn't win out on the truck bid. It just stays here. It never got delivered. That's going to cost me a victory point. Also, what costs me victory points is if my mine is unbalanced. Now, I'm going to give just a little version of this. Of course, you're going to have way more tiles on either side at the end of the game. But just to simplify the explanation here, here's what it means. It means if you have an uneven balance, doesn't have to be on the same colored shaft, but for instance, I have 1 dark tunnel and 2 lit tunnels. I am imbalanced by 1. For every imbalance I'm off, I have to go back 2 victory points. So again, let's say I had this, okay? I have 1 unlit shaft and 1, 2, 3 lit shafts. I'm out of balance by 2. 2 times 2 is 4, so I would lose 4 points. 1, 2, 3, 4. And as you see, that can really hurt you. So it also forces you during the game to make sure you get a good balance of unlit and lit shafts. And like I said, it doesn't have to be on the same row here. See here, 3 and 3. If you're even, then you don't lose any points. It's kind of just a little extra incentive to get different tiles in the game. Now, at the end of those 3 rounds, whoever has the most victory points wins. Final thoughts. What do I think about the game? Well, I love it. I like the bidding mechanism where you can get outbid and lose workers. You can get 2 people in a fight over 1 item and maybe win out for second place because they won't have enough workers. A lot of times you're calculating workers out and who has what left. So there's a lot of strategy here. You need to know, and you can't forget, you may be bidding so much on the moves that you forgot you need to get the deliveries. The first game we ever played, they forgot that they were supposed to get some deliveries done, and they didn't have enough workers left over to bid because they were trying to bid and get this great contract and get all these moves, and they were going to just rock and roll. But unfortunately, they didn't have anything to bid upon, and to move out their shipments for, and they lost. I love the little mechanism in the elevator. That is just so cool. I love games that think of different ways to do things, and that's Coal Baron does that. Now, I know they came up with a card game of this. I've never played it. I'm not that into card games, but I know for me, for my bottom dollar, Coal Baron is where it's at. Love this game. Super fun. You should get it too. All right, gamers, that's all the time I have for now. Until next time, game on.